First of all, as you can see from this first slide, INiTS is a business incubator. So as you can find all over the world, we have been established in 2002. Then at this time, the universities became independent from the ministries, and one of the main tasks was to commercialize scientific results by themselves. And so the government then decided to install business incubators in each and every town in Austria where the bigger universities are situated. So Vienna, as the capital of Austria, has roughly, then it had 4 universities. Now it has again still 4 universities, but a considerable number of academic institutions. INiTS has 3 shareholders, also mentioned already by Posena, University of Vienna, and the Vienna University of Technology, and very importantly, the city of Vienna. And our focus and main task is to support in the early stage and to support in the field of high technology. So we rather not accept applications from copycats or the like, but we really are searching and scouting for technologies that have a considerable technological risk in it, in the project. We are seeing roughly 150 business ideas per year from the Austria and also from the CE region. In the past year, we also had a couple of applications from Great Britain and from Russia. And from these 150 business ideas, we are selecting 20 business ideas which we support with consulting. And as a second support, we are providing equity of up to 100,000 euros. And apart from this, we also run an accelerator focused on e-health topics. However, this is a service for companies. That's really a pure service for companies, and I won't talk about this in my presentation. So if you have any questions about this, please approach me separately. So what we are doing is, we're having a value chain that you can see on this picture. So first of all, we are trying to matchmake between technologies and technology seekers. The idea behind this is to generate companies. In a second step, we support these startups through our incubation program. And in the third step, we provide funding to these startups. And for each of these services, we have separate brands. So first is Start IP, the second Startup Camp, and the third is Start Capital. And I would like to start with the generation. Start IP, as the name already suggests, helps to commercialize, on the one hand, to commercialize technologies developed at universities. On the other hand, adds the most important ingredient successful company, namely the founder, the experienced founder. So Startup B works like this. We throughout the year we are collecting and selecting technology from all over Austria, from all over Europe, from different technology providers. So that is, on the one hand, it's universities, and on the other hand, it's University of Applied Science. It's independent research institutions and also companies. We are doing this for in our third year. So far, we only had technologies on the platform from academic institutions or universities. In the next year, we will have a special focus on companies, because we think that also in companies there are very promising technologies in the drawers, which are dormant. So if those companies would consider to commercialize these technologies externally, then Startup B would be an appropriate way for this. And on the other hand, we have the technology seekers, which are entrepreneurs, investors, consultants, and importantly also representatives of companies. So R&D, heads of R&D, business developers, and the like. And once again, Startup B is a marketplace for these technologies and tries to matchmake between technologies and technology seekers. To show you some figures from our last edition of Startup P, which took place on the on January 30th of this year, which the venue was the University of Technology in Vienna. We had roughly 100 attendees from 8 countries. There were also attendees from Czech Republic, from the Mental University in Brno, and in total we had 30 technology seekers from 4 countries: Austria, Germany, Great Britain, and the Netherlands. There were 8 companies represented, mainly or exclusively Austrian companies: Infineon, Hirtenberger, Buhler, Greiner, Wien Energie, and Palfinger. We were also very lucky to have attracted investors from Austria, from the Netherlands, and also one from the US. And the technologies came from 9 universities from 5 countries. So from Austria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, and Slovenia. And the 17 technologies that presented themselves were from different technology fields, such as pharma, medical devices, process engineering, dairy, energy, and construction. What they had in common was that they had that the market launch is expected to be feasible within 3 or 4 years. So that is one of the most important criteria for the selection of these technologies, because what we experienced is, or what we learned from entrepreneurs and companies, is that they expect to see results within a rather short period. So that's the reason why we took this criteria. With respect to the selection of the technologies, it was and is very important to have a direct contact to the universities, to the technology transfer departments of the universities. And this is a very interesting, challenging part of the organization of this matching day. So we have had several discussions all over Europe with universities, with companies, with patent attorneys, to really, first of all, introduce them to the idea of Startup E, and on the other hand, to convince them to participate. Lastly, what I would like to mention to this slide is we have in Austria a funding program we called the FFG Fellowship Program. This is very similar to the EXIST program in Germany and almost identical to the Pioneers program, which was actually invented at the ETH Zurich. The idea of this fellowship program is that scientific results from basic research that look promising are supported through funds for a period of 18 months. And at the end, the decision whether or not to really take this and start the company should be eased. So the idea is to reduce the technological risk. And this is very, very well accepted throughout Austria. And I think this is a very interesting opportunity to really to mature technologies and eventually be in a better position to really decide whether or not to commercialize the idea, either through an own company or through licensing to the industry. So that was some impressions from the last round. On the next slide, I don't want to talk about each of the technologies. This is to show you that after the matching day, there were a couple of follow-on discussions and meetings with interested technology seekers from either industry or investors or press. So you can see the green frames. They indicate that there are ongoing talks. The red frames indicate that either no talks happened or that the talks have been cancelled, and the red ones stand for that they are still in process. So the decision whether or not to continue the sessions stands still out. Yeah, this was our first service that really supports universities and actually is the starting point, or should be the starting point for startup creation. The next, what I would like to introduce you to is the startup incubation. Since I'm sure that you have a lot of similar offers in the Czech Republic, I really will mention only the most important facts about this. So first of all, I would like to give you an overview on how our program works, how the selection board and how the selection process works. So you on the first hand, you have interested founders apply via our website, and each and every application is reviewed by one of our colleagues, and if she or he thinks that might be interesting, then the next thing is that an initial meeting is scheduled in person, and in this initial meeting, we learn about the business idea, and then we have to do the decision whether or not to follow on with the project. And if the decision is positive, then the next step is a business model work, in which the founders get to know us, and vice versa, we get to know them better and learn more about the business idea. And the next step then would be an internal team challenge. At this stage, the team already provides provides a better description of the business idea, about the business model and the business plan. And finally, the last step in this selection process is a presentation in front of our project advisory board, which is taking the decision whether or not to accept a project to our incubation program. And the incubation itself consists of a 100-day startup camp, in which the objective is to really validate the business model. We do this through workshops, one-on-one meetings. So the rather typical set of measures. Very important also to mention that a large mentor network is very, very important. And at the end of this startup camp, there are two boards. There's the investment board, which decides whether or not INiTS should invest into the startup. And on the next day, or very often on a day, there's the demo day, in which the startups present their business ideas in front of investors, companies, and funding institutions. And in the remainder of the time, so in the following 9 months, there is almost exclusively one-on-one consulting provided by either the consultants or by external partners. So that's, in a nutshell, how the incubation program works. To give you an example on which types of startups we have been supporting so far, these are only 6 examples. In total, we have supported 250. The number is not correct anymore, but the startups are ranging from tactile systems as manufactured and developed by Blue Danube Robotics, to analytical instruments used for mineral oil products. There is My Sugar, which is the first FDA-approved app for diabetes patients. And on the bottom here, we have a classical vaccine development project. Sort of we are most proud of is Marinomed, who launched their initial public offering in February 2019. Unfortunately, we do not have stakes in this company, but the founder of this company was one of the first incubees of INiTS, and actually he was already a an experienced business guy, but he decided to participate in the program because he wanted his team to catch up with the ideas of business incubation, of business development. This is the second service, and the third I would like to introduce you to is Startkapital, Start Capital. This is our equity funding. We, as mentioned, we provide up to 100,000 euro equity investment, which can be used to leverage public funding. So typically you have to provide somewhere between 20 and 30% of the funding you are searching yourself through either own money or money of an investor. And Startkapital can be used for this counter financing. When we decide to invest into a company, we do not do a standard, do not do an individual valuation of the company, but we have learned from the startups we have so far that in their first financing round, their valuation is roughly 1 million euro. That is why we decided to have a standardized valuation of 1 million euro. So that means if we are providing 100,000 euros, we take 10% of the shares. However, we have limited shareholder rights. So our investment is an investment that it will not appear in the company register, and our profit, or the intention is to profit from 3 events in the life of a startup. First of all, in case there are any profits, then we want a share in the profits. Second, if there is an exit, so if the majority of the shares are sold to a third party. And thirdly, we are eligible for 10% of the investment in the case of on investment round. In the current situation, we decided not to continue with this, since liquidity is in the current situation is very important. So this obligation to repurchase shares is not true anymore. Yeah, thank you very much. I think I hope that you have seen how we are supporting universities. Let me finally, I would like to mention that the universities are very, very important partners for us, and we are constantly trying to intensify the cooperation with them throughout Austria, throughout Europe. And I would especially invite you to have a look at Start IP. So if you are interested to learn more about Start IP, or if you have any else question, please either ask it in the next couple of minutes or drop me. Thank you.
Thank you, Markus. That was very, very nice. I would wait for the questions by asking one of my own. On one of your earlier slides, you showed that your startup is supporting like not only Austrian businesses but also the wider region of Central Europe. In case that you have company from not Austrian, does it have to be in some kind of consortium or cooperation with Austrian university or other Austrian business, or can some people from say Czech Republic apply for a startup in Austria? How does this work?
Yeah, the thing is like the situation is like since we are primarily funded by public funds, there is one important requirement, as you can imagine. The requirement would be to incorporate in Austria, so to have the headquarter in Austria. This is this is for external founders and startups. This is the only obstacle, to be very honest with you. However, from the perspective of a city or from a state, I think it's understandable.
Yes, thank you.